my friends, today I wanted to do a little unboxing with you all. I just came from outside and found this box right out of my door, and I think I know what it is, hence I want to unbox it with you. You know, as I'm doing the unboxing, let's chat a little. Have you heard of the saying, when life gives you lemons, you gotta make lemonade? Have you heard any other saying that goes that way? You know, in my book, You Are Enough, by the way, if you haven't gotten a copy, grab a copy of the book. I would really appreciate that. This book is available at Chapters, Barnes & Noble. It's available on Amazon. So just look for You Are Enough by Michelle Jacob. And in the book, in the chapter Letting Go, Forgiving Others, Forgiving Yourself, I also talk about something called MGMs. MGMs is my growth moments. Have you had a year or maybe years where you feel like that year was all about growth? It was a year that puts you through multiple challenges, and these challenges aren't there to keep you stuck in life, but these challenges are there to make you grow. So just like, you know, when a little seed, for the seed to become the seedling, to grow into the tree that it's meant to grow, we need to plant it. It needs to go into darkness first. Last 2 years of my life were kind of similar. I felt like I was the seed being planted, and I had to learn how to turn the lemons into lemonade. I had to look at the situations and go, how can I grow from it? What can I produce out of this pain that I'm going through? Because all of us, our pain has a purpose. If you're going through a painful situation, you can use that and grow something beautiful in your life. So the thing I'm about to unbox, I really hope it's the right thing. Watch it be one of those Amazon things that I ordered and I just got it now in this giant box, right? That would be so embarrassing, but I'm pretty sure I know what it is. And what it is, you guys, got it open. All right. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited, so excited. It's a copy of the book, The Story of Fire, Ice, and Firice. It's a separation story for conscious families. It's actually literally the first time I'm holding the book in my hands, and it feels so surreal. It feels unreal in a way. To be holding, and Devouring Minds now has a kid's book. Now, the reason I was sharing with you guys about if life gives you lemonades, or lemons, turn it into lemonade, and you know, each moment we have an opportunity to create something beautiful out of painful situations in our life, is because this book was created out of a painful situation in my life. You know, last year I was going through a separation. And during the separation, I was feeling a lot of guilt, a lot of mom guilt, actually, because, you know, one of the things, knowing about childhood trauma and being healer, being a transformation coach, working with inner child wounds, one of the things I really wanted to prevent in my own son was childhood wounds. Being in the marriage was more toxic for my son, that this marriage, I knew the right thing to do was to dissolve it. But at the same time, I wanted to protect him from the childhood trauma that children experience when they go through, when their parents go through a separation. And because I work with a lot of adults with childhood wounds, and working with the inner child, I had come to know what the inner child needs to hear. No matter what that child is going through, there are a few things that the child needs to hear, the child needs to feel. One of the things that was very important to me was during my own divorce process, My son did not make up his own stories about the process. My son did not think it was his fault. I didn't want any of that programming that oftentimes children from divorce homes end up having. So children from divorce homes, oftentimes in their minds, they think, oh, my parents separated because of me. They have all these fears and anxieties. Do I need to choose who to love? Who should I love more? And they have all these fears that I knew my son was going to have as well. And one of the things I wanted to do was I wanted to make sure he wasn't making up his own stories. I wanted to make sure he knew he was born out of love. I wanted to make sure that he knew that no matter if he was getting separated or his parents were getting separated, he never had to choose. He knew that he had access to both parents. He knew he was loved, which was the most important, right? Loved by both parents. And I decided the day I was separate or leaving the marital home, I wanted my son to have a book. And I decided to write a book. I took some pieces of paper and the story came to me, and I wrote a story, stapled it, and I left it with him to read during the days when he was with his dad. So that story, last year, seeing how my son coped with the separation process, the divorce process, how he came out of it, really believing and knowing that this isn't his fault, this is something that had to happen. And the reason he knew it wasn't his fault, part of it was the story. And I'm so excited to share this story with you guys as well. And let me read you the story. If you have the time, I would like to take you on a journey of my story, my son's story, our family's story in a way. And it's the story of Fire, Ice, and Firice. So the title of the book is The Story of Fire, Ice, and Firice, a separation story for conscious families. Let's open the book. Let me show you the first page of the book. Once upon a time, in the land of volcanoes, there lived Fire. Fire loved adventures and exploring lands. She had a glow so bright, she would light up the darkest of places. That's Fire. And a big shout out to my illustrator, Roxy Reed. She did such an amazing job capturing exactly what I wanted the characters to look like. So I'm really grateful for her. A big shout out to her. Far away, in the land of glaciers, there lived Ice. Ice loved Christmas and Christmas trees. He was made of beautiful crystals that held a powerful strength within. And that's Ice, you guys. One day, Fire decided she was going to visit the lands that were across the oceans. She hopped on a floating rock and began her journey to the other side of the world. The floating rock took her to the land of the glaciers. That's her on a floating rock. And the floating rock took her to the land of the glaciers. She hopped off the rock and started exploring the land, when suddenly she saw a rock made of beautiful white crystals. She approached the rock to get a better look at it and was about to touch it when all of a sudden the rock turned around and said, "Hi, I am Ice." Fire was startled and jumped back. She had never seen anything that looked like ice and thought Ice was really cool. She smiled and said, "Hi, I am Fire from the land of the volcanoes." Her glow was so bright that Ice was mesmerized by it and thought Fire was really warm. They both fell in love with each other's unique abilities and built together a beautiful house they called home. And here is Fire meeting Ice, falling in love, and building their home. Fire and Ice's love for each other was so powerful that it created an element never before seen, a special element that carried the bright glow and the warmth of fire and the power and strength of ice. There's a special element that was created. Notice the glow in the eyes, or the fire in the eyes on its head. It was a powerful element infused with love, light, power, strength, courage, and joy. Fire and ice named their element Firice. They loved their beautiful element a lot, and he was super special to them. That's fire, ice, and Firice. As time passed by, fire and ice's unique abilities were starting to hurt each other. Fire's bright glow had started melting ice, and ice's powerful melted waters started putting out fire's glow. They both started getting smaller and smaller. Fire was starting to lose her bright glow, and ice was starting to lose his strong power. Look at them. They're starting to lose the glow, starting to lose the power. They're starting to shrink. This caused them both to be sad and angry. Ice thought, if only fire wouldn't glow so bright, I wouldn't melt. Fire thought, if only ice wouldn't melt into water, I wouldn't get so small and dim. One day, they had a sad realization that they were going to put each other out if they stayed in the same house. Notice how they shrunk. Firice did not understand what was happening to fire and ice. He was born with a special gift and was unique. He was unaffected by fire's bright glow, nor was he affected by ice's powerful melted waters. There's Firice, the unique strengths of both. He could not understand why fire and ice were getting smaller and smaller. He could not understand why they were sad and angry. He wished they would stop shrinking. He wished the house would be filled with love and joy again. He wished fire would glow bright and ice would be strong again. He wanted them both to get bigger again. Notice fire and ice are almost the size of Firice because they're shrinking. They're putting each other out. One morning, fire and ice came to Firice and said, "A beautiful Firice, we wanted to let you know that you will soon be expanding and will have 2 special homes." Firice didn't like the sound of that. He knew for fire to glow again and for ice to be strong again, they would need to be in different houses. He didn't like the thought of that at all. He wanted them all to be in the same house. That's fire and ice having a conversation with Firice. And notice how fire and ice have shrunk to the size of Firice. That night, Firice started to feel scared. Would I have to choose who to love? Would I have to choose where to stay? Would we still be a family? Was this my fault? Would I be safe? Would I still be loved? Would I still be able to have play dates and bring my friends over? Would fire and ice not be together for my special events? He started to feel sad, thinking only one of them might come to his special events. That's Firice not being able to sleep at night, lost in his thoughts, his worries. The next morning, fire and ice came into his room, sensing Firice's fears. Firice could see that fire and ice looked very weak and much smaller than they were yesterday. Look how they have shrunk. They're much smaller than Firice now. The more they stay together, they are shrinking. They looked at him and said, "We are very sorry you had to see us shrink and lose our special abilities. We know this isn't easy for you at all. This must be confusing and scary for you. We want you to know we love you so much. Us not being able to stay in the same house is not your fault at all. Ice will always hold a special place in the heart of fire, and fire will always hold a special place in the heart of ice because of you. You connect us and always will." That's them having a chat. And now they're shrunk much smaller than Firice. They're getting smaller and smaller. Fire and Ice promised Firice he never will have to choose. He never will have to choose between them and will be spending time with both. He can speak to Fire or Ice whenever he wants. They also promised him that they will always be together for all his special events, and he never has to fear one not being there because of the other. Firice felt better hearing this. He smiled and said, "I guess we're going to be a unique family." "Yes, we are," said Fire and Ice. "Remember, Firice," said Fire, "you will always be our number one priority. You matter to us. How you feel and what you have to say matters. We love you so much. And us not being able to stay in the same house will never change these facts." Isn't that beautiful? "I love you guys," said Firice. "We love you too," said Fire and Ice. Firice felt ready to start a new adventure in his life. This is a school concert and his parents are together cheering him up. Now this book is great for parents as well. This is a resource you can use to read to your children, and using the story, you can ask them questions on how they feel. And if you want some of the questions to ask, I have questions for discussion right here. One of the questions here is, do you experience any of the fears that Firice experienced when he heard his mom and dad were not going to be together anymore? Are there any other fears that you may have about mom and dad not being together? How can mom and dad make this process easier for you? Some questions to start off with. Ask your children these questions, see what they say. But this was a book I wrote because I wanted to capture more than just allowing my son to understand that he'll be living in two houses. I wanted him, or wanted the book to capture how much he is loved. I wanted him to know through this book that he's loved, he's valuable, he matters, his voice matters, how he feels matters. I wanted him to understand the separation had nothing to do with him, because oftentimes when kids see parents fighting, one of the things that by doing this work with inner child have realized is kids always, especially between the ages of 9 and 12, and that's who the book is for, between the ages of 9 and 12. And of course, little children or children younger than 9, it's a great resource as well. But 9 and 12 tend to be egocentric, and they tend to personalize everything. They tend to think everything's about them. And for them, when their parents are going through a divorce, they make up all these stories. They think, oh, my parents are fighting because of me. My parents are separating because of me. I am the one at fault. And they're going to carry this guilt if their programming is not changed. And if they're not made to understand from an early age, or from when the process is happening, through a story like Fire and Ice, that, hey, this has nothing to do with me. Fire puts out ice and ice puts out fire, and this is about them. And I really wanted a book to capture it, and I had bought a couple of divorce books as a we were going through the separation, and I found no book captured that essence of love and captured those thoughts and fears of a child going through a divorce, where a child whose parents are going through a divorce. And hence I ended up writing this book for my son. And yeah, this is a very special book. It was written for my son first. It was part of our family first, and seeing how my son has progressed throughout this entire journey of divorce for him, and seeing his confidence, seeing that he knows in its core this isn't about him, and he knows he's loved by his mom and dad. And part of it was this programming. You literally need to say it to them, and a story like this is really going to help them. Let me also show you the back page of the book, you guys. 3 affirmations for yourself, for parents, and for your kids. You are loved. You're valuable. You are enough. Of course, parents, if you're going through the journey of a divorce, separation, make sure you grab a copy of the book, You Are Enough. Because oftentimes when we're going through the journey of divorce, it can be really stressful. It can be very hard to take certain things personally. You know, when people are hurt, hurtful things are done. So it can be very easy to not realize that the other partner is hurting and hence being hurtful. It can be very easy to think, oh, the partner's behavior is because of you, and it's very easy to personalize. So very important, you learn the tools to manage your own stresses, to manage your own emotions. Most importantly, come, or at least shift, or most importantly, recognize that their behavior is not a reflection of who you are. Their behavior is not a reflection of you not being worthy of love or worthy of having an amazing relationship. What happened in your marriage or happens in your marriage is not a reflection of what you're worthy of. So a book like You Are Enough will help you step into your worth and help you know that other people's behaviors have nothing to do with you. Other people's programming is theirs, and the way they behave is their inner states, their stories, they say, their childhood traumas, their processing, right? So a book like You Are Enough will be a great resource if you are going through a separation process or not. This is a great book for building your confidence, for learning how to step into your inner peace and happiness no matter the circumstances of your life. And this is where it all started, hence the message of You Are Enough in the book. I want to give a big shout out to the illustrator for one thing that she captured in this book. I don't know if you guys saw it. Check out this picture. It says You Are Enough. It's in Firice's room, and I love that. I love how she captured that. I'm so grateful for that. And so you guys, back to the book. This book is not launched yet. It's not released yet. The release date is January 1st, and I am so excited. It's going to be released on Amazon January 1st, 2025. And I can't wait for you to get a copy of this book. I can't wait for this book to touch the lives of many, many children around the world. I know 1 in 3 families are going through a separation in our world today. And so there are a lot of children whose parents are also struggling. And maybe that's you. And when you're struggling, it's hard to find the right words to say to your children. If you're struggling, get this, and get this for your children. And I pray and I hope that, you know, divorce is never easy, separation is never easy, but I pray that these tools can help you have an easier separation, an easier divorce process, knowing that this process is just unfolding of another amazing adventure ahead of you. It's not the end, it's only the beginning. That being said, thank you so much for watching my YouTube video. If you like my content, don't forget to subscribe and like this video, share it with others. If there's any family going through a separation or divorce process, please share this with them. And love your support with both these books. And like I said, this is available Barnes & Noble and Chapters, and this is available Amazon. Thank you so much, you guys. Sending you so much love. Bye.